Hey there, I'm Sean Bolen with Game Attack, and I was just asked by our chat here live on twitch.tv/Game Attack team how the Fast and Furious franchise went from stealing VCRs and TVs out of the back of semi-trucks to international terrorism with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham. So here I am to give you the Fast and Furious rundown you didn't know you needed.
Get low when the whistle go.
Late 2000s, we're going into the break of the new millennia, and you enter Brian O'Connor, aka Brian Earl Spillner, Paul Walker's undercover as a street racer trying to find a group of domestic terrorists led by Vin Diesel. They're a hot rodding group of car-loving motherfuckers who want to steal from semi-trucks, and they are damn good at it. They shoot the harpoons into the seats, they grapple, they jump onto the front, they go onto the trailers, and all that's real good. But Paul Walker is a member of the FBI, and he's going in and he's going to stop them once and for all because the truckers are starting to arm themselves, and they're going to blow these renegade VCR stealers away with their little sawed-off shotguns and their clubs, as you'll see later in the movie. Enter Vin Diesel in the first street race where Brian Earl Spillner, aka Brian O'Connor, who already loves Vin Diesel's sister, is getting into the street racing scene to make friends with them, not unlike Point Break from 1992 starring Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, which is the third best action movie ever made. They do the first street race. Guess what happens? Paul Walker blows his car out. He embarrassed himself. He doesn't finish the race. Vin Diesel wins the race, of course, gets the pink slip to Brian Earl Spillner's car, but the cops show up and ruin the race, okay? Street racers scatter, cops are there, they're going to do it. Paul Walker goes and finds Vin Diesel and saves him from the cops, earning his trust. Vin Diesel trusts Paul Walker, so they end up becoming best friends to stop Johnny Tran, who's, I think he's like a triad or something. I don't know. He's a criminal of epic proportions. They make best friends. Paul's in his garage helping out. Turns out Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto, and his crew are the ones stealing the VCR players. And then Dom finds out that Paul Walker is indeed an FBI agent. They have a drag race on a train to finish it off to see who's the best for no particular reason. Dom's car pops wheelie. It's awesome. And then the police are coming for Dom. Brian, knowing that he's betrayed his friend by lying to him, even though he's a cop, he gives him his keys to the car. Dom runs off, and cut to Brian on the run from the cops for giving his best friend the keys, even though he's already a police officer. Miami! Ba-dum-dum-dum. Too Fast, Too Furious. Me and Greyson sitting there in 5th grade talking about movies. 11, 12 years old. Greyson says, "Did you see the trailer for Too Fast, Too Furious?" I said, "No, what the fuck is that?" And he goes, "It's the sequel to Fast and Furious." I said, "Is Vin Diesel back?"
I said, "No, but they've got someone in it who's just like him."
Tyrese Gibson, a.k.a. Roman Pierce, comes into the scene. Paul Walker's old friend. Paul Walker is now the hot shit in Miami. He's the best street racer on the scene. He's whooping everybody's ass. He's basically what Dom was in the first movie, but now in Miami. Luda's there, and he's running the street races. Paul Walker's dominating the street races. And guess what? FBI shows up, stops Brian O'Connor from racing, and says, "Hey, we need you. We need you to go undercover again. Even though you should be under arrest for aiding and abetting and street racing and being the tits, we need your help." So he goes to Barstow, Arizona to recruit Tyrese to help him. And he brings Tyrese back to Miami. They get the Mitsubishi Evo, and they also get a Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider, and the purple one, the ugly one with the horrible rims. Apparently Tyrese picked that out himself. Okay, so they stop a drug lord. Yeah, that's it. Boom, boom. Hey. We're going to Tokyo. Everything I just talked about, we're going to put the pause button on that bitch, and we're going to do some time jumping to Josh Lucas, star of Pistol Pete, the made-for-TV movie about a small-town boy who could play in Indiana basketball. Craig, you ever seen Pistol Pete? You know Pistol Pete? Tokyo Drift is Karate Kid with street racing, okay? This kid races Brad from Home Improvement, wrecks his car, gets it to live in Japan with his dad who's in the military. Instead of learning karate to beat up Japanese kids, he races them. Not like racism. He races them. Tons of shit hits the fan. He meets this guy named Han, who's a really good dude. He's like a super suave guy who's kicking ass, but he's really morally sound. The white dude kind of idolizes him. And that guy dies. He gets killed by the Yakuza guy in a race. And then he races the Yakuza guy for street cred and all that. Beats his ass by putting like a Honda S2000 motor in a Mustang. And so he gets to stay in Japan. The Yakuza guy gets banned from Japan forever. I don't really know how that's enforced. But he gets the girl in the end. And at the end, Vin Diesel shows up in a street race to race Josh Lucas, the sad quarterback with a sick granny in Friday Night Lights. And Vin Diesel's like, hey, I heard you knew my friend Han. And the white kid's like, yeah, Han was a good guy. And then they race, cut to black as the race starts. A few years go by, it's radio silence on Fast and Furious, and out of fucking nowhere, new trailer drops for this little thing called Fast and Furious, the most forgettable one. Original make, original parts, Vin Diesel's back, Paul Walker's back, Michelle Rodriguez is back, Jordana Brewster is back. And here we go. Vin Diesel is now escalated. He's not robbing fucking little VCR players anymore. He's robbing full-blown gasoline tankers in this shit, okay? He's got a good crew making a ton of money. And eventually Letty dies, who's his girlfriend, played by Michelle Rodriguez. So Vin Diesel has to go on a vision quest and re-team up with now senior FBI agent Brian O'Connor, Paul Walker, to find the killer of Michelle Rodriguez. Somehow it benefits Paul Walker as well. They hate each other most of the movie, and they end up getting vengeance and killing him. But unfortunately, Dominic Toretto goes to prison after they get their vengeance, so he's in jail. The movie ends with the team going up to rescue Dom from a prison bus transport. And as you can see, in Fast 5, the 5th movie of the series, let's fucking go with Fast 5. Second best one, in my opinion. Movie starts with Jordana Brewster slamming her brakes, and the prison bus he's on flips over it and gets into like a 10-roll crash. Everybody's probably dead. But apparently there were no casualties, and the news makes sure to clarify that, because it's like, wow, you just killed probably 75 prisoners. They're going to Rio, baby. Guess what? Jordana Brewster's pregnant with Paul Seed. He has impregnated her. And Vin Diesel finds out later. But now they got a baby on the way. You got to restart thinking some stuff. And in Fast 5, they're basically just trying to steal some money to really just stop running from the cops. They're really tired of fucking running. They've been doing it for 3 movies now, and it's time to lay low. They spend about 2 hours planning this big giant heist with police cars and going undercover and stuff, but The Rock's coming after him, because Dwayne "The Rock" fucking Johnson is in Fast 5 as Special Agent Luke Hobbs, who's been tracking him for a while. Luke Hobbs knows that these guys drive real fucking fast, and he's going to do whatever they can to stop them. And stop him from robbing this like cartel drug lord, right? Turns out they scrap all the plans that they've been training for this whole time, and Vin Diesel and Paul are like, let's just go in there with 2 Dodge Chargers, strap the bitch to the back with some cables, and tow it out of there in what is arguably the best car chase of all time. It is so fucking good. Okay, so this car chase ends with Vin Diesel using the safe as a weapon to kill the cartel guy. And it turns out Luke Hobbs stops him, but they actually at one time switched the safe by dragging it into a garbage truck and taking it somewhere else. So, Dom gets away with the money. The crew is safe to be free. Paul Walker and Jordana can go spit that baby out, no problem, and have a great life of luxury, okay? And I want to see in the chat if you've even realized at this point that we are now in international spy games. Did you even realize that? Fast 6. This one is slam bam, thank you ma'am, whamma jamma, whamma limma bing bang. This thing is crazy. You got planes coming down. You got tanks. You got a F1 car with the flips. And Luke Hobbs is looking for this guy who's played by, I think, Luke Evans, actually, who's Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. That guy's awesome. I love him. I hope he gets more work. This guy is like military. He's like Dom's crew, but like military and way more badass. And Luke can't stop him. He needs a group of drivers, so he tracks down Dom, who's actually, since Letty died, his girlfriend, he's been sleeping with this blonde Brazilian girl from Fast 5, and they've been getting it on like crazy. Dom finds him and says, hey, I need your crew. And Dom's like, why the fuck would I help you, dude? You just chased me down the favelas like in Modern Warfare 2. And Dwayne The Rock Johnson says, because Letty's alive, and he shows him a picture. Letty's right there. Letty's alive. Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez, she's alive this whole time. And Dom's like, hey, I gotta go. And he leaves his Brazilian girlfriend behind. And Paul Walker's like, I gotta go with you. And Tyrese and Luda and Han, who died, because this is all taking place before Tokyo Drift, they all come up and they help try to stop these military dudes. They really are outmatched. They did a great job of showing that, yeah, these are just street thugs from LA who street race, and they get their ass kicked by these military people the entire movie. It's actually like really refreshing, because when you ask the question, how did it go from robbing VCRs to this, like, at no point do they claim to be military specialists, and this shows that they aren't. They're just people that know how to drive cars really good. Awesome car chases, tank scenes really cool, Vin Diesel's doing ridiculous shit, all the while trying to convince Letty that he used to bang her a lot, and they used to love each other. And yeah, eventually they stop the terrorists. The Rock is working with them, so Vin Diesel and The Rock, they managed to find somebody that's bigger than The Rock and Vin Diesel combined, and they fight him in an airplane, and it's great. And then bam, everybody is dead, except for Dom and Han and Letty and Brian and Jordana Brewster and The Rock. Okay, Fast 7. James Wong, who makes horror movies, somehow they thought he was ready to make an action film. They said, hey, you made movies about people in a haunted house. How about you make a 2.5-hour action film? It's just Justin Lin, he's got real cars. They're really crashing an airplane. They crashed a fucking airplane in Fast 6, for real. Fury 7 comes out. The Rock and all these guys are full-blown friends, and they love each other more than anything in the world. Kurt Russell shows up and says, we need you to find the God's Eye, which is this surveillance device. But Jason Statham shows up, the brother of the bad guy from Fast and Furious 6, and he is pissed that his brother got whooped by these hoodlums from LA. So he kills Han. That's how Han died in Tokyo Drift. He got murdered by Jason Statham. Turns out that's what happened. So now we're caught up continuity-wise, and Jason Statham is straight up Terminator, man. He just keeps showing up at all the wrong times. He's a better driver than all of them, and he's really great. Turns out Paul Walker needs to retire because he's got a baby on the way. And at the end, they stop the bad guys. The Rock rips a minigun off of a drone, which should not have hand controls on it at all. But apparently it has a manual trigger on it, because people strap Gatling guns to the wings of drones. So Fast and Furious 7 happens. We are now full-blown international terrorism. The Rock, Vin Diesel, they're working for this group. Paul Walker leaves because he wants to take care of his baby, his family, his wife, but in reality, he died because Porsche Carrera GT couldn't be controlled by his friend. They slammed to a tree, and he passed away, unfortunately. I don't know if you heard about that. But Fast and Furious 8 shows up. We have now graduated to full-blown special operatives, right? This is now a team of military personnel. You can consider them no longer LA hoodlums, okay? Vin Diesel's driving around street racing one day, and Charlize Theron shows up, and the most deadpan acting job of her entire career. Dom, I gotta tell you something. I need you to come work for me. And Dom's like, why would I do that? I don't know you. Who are you? Like, why you're some. And Charlize Theron turns out to be a cyber terrorist who controls everything from an airplane. But yeah, she's just a crazy lady who talks really deadpan. Turns out, Charlize Theron has something on Vin Diesel. That Brazilian blonde from earlier, the really fine one, that he impregnated when they had sex with his seed. He's got a little baby boy with that woman. And Charlize Theron has him in her plane in a glass case. And she says, you have to do this job for me or I'm going to kill your family. And Vin Diesel's like, all right. And he goes, and Vin Diesel just starts whooping everybody's ass. He shuts down The Rock. He shuts down Letty, his true love. He shuts down his friends. And all his friends and the audience, if you're really fucking stupid, are like, you have to be, like, pressured by something. I don't know why you're doing this to us and ruining our family. And, yeah. Somehow, The Rock and Jason Statham are in prison together. And they bust out of prison. Okay, they bust out of prison. And now, for some reason, Kurt Russell is like, hey, Jason Statham's really cool. He's working with you guys now, even though he just spent the entire movie last time trying to kill you. And he killed your best friend, Han, back in Tokyo in 2004. All right, so they're like, okay, Dom's fucking crazy. He's trying to stop us. Charlize Theron's in this plane riding around. And they don't know what to do. So Jason Statham comes and helps them. Turns out she's got a nuclear submarine in the Arctic. And she's gonna bomb the town. I don't know what town it is, but she's gonna blow it. And you know, Vin Diesel rescues his that's right. Vin Diesel's son is on the plane with Charlize Theron while Vin Diesel is down there trying to help Charlize Theron do this submarine bombing thing, whatever's happening. Vin Diesel hatches a plan to have Jason Statham and his brother from Fast and Furious 6, who's not fucking dead, just horribly scarred and still looking better than just about everybody because Luke Evans is fine as a motherfucker. Okay. They're going to the plane with jetpacks and to save Vin Diesel's baby because Charlize Theron shot the hot Brazilian girl. And Vin Diesel's like, no, don't do it. So the baby's alive. F. Gary Gray, I think, who directed Straight Outta Compton, mismanages action to biblical proportions in what is probably the best action scene in Fast and Furious history, as Jason Statham and Luke Hobbs whoop people's ass on the plane while holding a baby carrier. And it looks like dog shit. Yeah. Just kind of ends. Luke Hobbs helps him. The Rock's whooping ass. Vin Diesel he just, jumps his Charger over a submarine and blows it up with a nuclear warhead in the Arctic. That just kind of happens. And then Jason saves his baby. They're in a balcony in New York City. And now Jason Statham is completely welcomed into the group because he saved Vin Diesel's baby. They name it Brian after Paul, even though he's not dead. He's just retired. He's just retired. And everybody's friends, and they crack beers open, and now The Rock and Jason Statham are now friends, even though they don't really like each other. And Jason Statham, even though he tried to kill everybody, including apparently saving one baby, wipes killing one best friend from the slate. So now Jason Statham's a good guy again. And there you go. Tokyo. Hip, hip, we're going to Tokyo.